Hi, and welcome to today's podcast episode. It is 2:20 right now in Podcastville. Eric Chase and the fam, Thursday, March 18th. I'm going to give you something here, a little monologue-y thing, because I don't think today's fam appearances from Ashleigh and Phillipe, I don't think they want to talk about any of these things. And Ashleigh and Phillipe. So we get Ashleigh every couple of Thursdays because she's super busy doing hotel stuff and doing mom stuff and school stuff and wife stuff. So we don't get her often, but we get her today. And usually Phillipe is here with us on Fridays, but they don't know as of this very second that they're going to be on with one another unless Phillipe texted Ashleigh, but it's very unlikely that happened. And they are great friends. I know they miss each other. I know they miss each other immensely. So I figured we'd do a swap today. Co-host swap. So Phillipe is going to be on in place of Alex is often on Thursdays. So Phillipe and Ashleigh today, Alex and Bethany tomorrow. It's good to have you here. I missed yesterday. I was supposed to connect with Allison Schroeder. Everybody knows Allison from Nature's Nursery. But there was some work things going on and we couldn't connect on a time. And I was looking through my notes and like, nothing is striking me today. That's why I don't miss talk radio, sports talk radio. Another reason I don't miss it. Some days there was just nothing going on and you'd kind of have to get angry or develop a strong opinion about something when there's literally nothing there. And that was a stretch because you know me, I want to be genuine. I want to be authentic. And yesterday, I genuinely didn't do a podcast because I didn't have any strong feelings and I didn't want to waste your time. I do have a question. Is this like peak allergy season? So do you recall I had a thing with my eye last summer? And it feels like it has crept back again, but I'm wondering if it's just because it's allergy season and it's really dried my eye out. So it's exacerbated the issue that I was dealing with last year, which was really like a degradation of my sight. It was vexing to the doctors and it was deflating to me. I never wound up wearing glasses because my vision really was regressed in my left eye, but it settled to the point where I felt okay. So I hope it's just allergies right now. Let me give you a couple things before we can dive into what I hope is joy and excitement for Phillipe and Ashleigh to hang on the podcast together. One thing, I did not offer any tweets or opinions about the shooting in Atlanta yesterday. Again, I didn't feel strongly about anything. Not like I did the week before when the Miami Heat player who just got traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, I don't know if that was simply coincidence or Miami was like, get out of here. And there are far more Jewish people in Miami than there are in Oklahoma City. And they're like, dude, you're done with our organization. We don't want you. I don't know why the Thunder would have taken him, but they did. But he said, I'm going to say the word, okay? Here we go. It's a Jewish slur. It's kike. It is the N-word towards Jews. He said that on a Twitch stream. He was playing Call of Duty. So I felt obviously very strongly about that. Again, not surprised that things like this happen. I don't even really get that upset because I know it's still out there. But I have had some thoughts coalesce after watching everyone share their thoughts and reading what I have. Stop the Asian hate and so much. Every time something like that happens, it reminds me of what was going on in World War II. I learned about it in school. I don't know if this is still taught, but we put Asian people out on the West Coast and like in California in what were essentially concentration camps during World War II. It was awful and horrific, and it is another black eye on our great history. So it was last week with Jewish people and once again being reminded of anti-Semitism that oftentimes isn't as strong as the hatred towards others. We had the synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh several years ago, but it's always lurking. It's lurked for centuries, if not a couple thousand years. But it brought this thought in my head that the only people not being gunned for, often literally, the only people who really don't need to have eyes in the back of their head or look over their shoulder are white male Gentiles. Those are people who are not Jewish. If you're a white male Gentile, there really isn't anybody out there who has hate flowing through them because of something you can't control. Everybody else, at one point or another, women, Muslims, people from India, obviously the black people, Asians, Jewish people, you name it. Unless you're a white male Gentile, all those people, in some way, shape, or form, at one time in their life, have had to look over their shoulder and think that they could be harmed, violently, killed, or maybe even worse, because somebody, probably a white male, didn't like them because of something that they had no control over. Their race, their gender, their sexual identity. Yeah, I can even throw religion in there. And I know that you can change religions fairly easy, as opposed to the other things. But there are people out there that hate all those people and more for things that those people can't control. And unless you're a white male Gentile, you've got to have eyes in the back of your head, sometimes at all times. And I know that there is hate like that and something that ends in ism all over the world, but it's hard for us to say we're as great as we are, and this is the greatest country on earth, and all the other things that we want to distinguish about the United States of America, when something like that looms all the time. When if you aren't that white dude, somebody might hate you for something you don't have any control over. Less serious things. So the Rockets lost last night. The UT men's basketball team, I think they lost 76-66 to Richmond in the NIT, the National Invitation Tournament. I think that was down in Texas. And I saw Jordan Strack from WTOL fighting off people who believe that Coach Todd Kowalczyk of the Rockets, who I think has been here as long as I've been here and much longer, should be fired, which is insane. Those people who want that are holding the UT men's basketball program to a standard where they don't reside. As far as I remember, like every year, it seems like the Rockets are in the mix to win the MAC. They're never awful, at least that I can remember. And if they are, they're not like last or next to last year after year, which I think BG has been at times their basketball team, or like the BG football team. But in the MAC, where Toledo plays, as long as they are competitive, and Coach Kowalczyk seems like a good dude, good for the program, good for the community, as long as they're not in last place every year and they're competitive, there is zero reason to fire him. He can retire in that job, whether it's in 5 years or 25 years. That program is just held to a different standard. Like the people that want him fired are, what are you expecting? And I know, I don't think Toledo has been to the tournament. No, it's been 42 years, which is much longer than Coach Kowalczyk has been coaching the UT men's basketball program. But I don't think the expectation is for them to get to the tournament. It is to just be competitive in the MAC. Anybody that wants him fired is holding him to the standard of Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, UC, Michigan, Ohio State. No, that's not the standard there. And I'm surprised that there are people who are that ardent of a follower, that passionate and fanatical about UT men's basketball that you would want Coach Kowalczyk fired. It's just wild stuff. There was a story in the Blade today, Blade News Slide, about Condado. I hope I'm saying that right. The New Mexican place that's opening up. And you got to see a local artist did some of the incredibly awesome and vibrant artwork. It's, I guess, like cosmic but futuristic sci-fi 50s vibe. And I think 24 is the number that they're playing off of because it's their 24th location. So I might go to like a preview night they have next Wednesday. It's I guess it's different from a lot of the Mexican places that we have here in the sense that, you know the deal by now. Pick your protein, make a bowl, make your own blah, blah. It's millennial and Gen Z friendly. And that's fine, but at least from the artwork and the aesthetic of it, it seems like a millennial Instagram trap. Just not my thing. Like, that's just very loud for my personality. If the food's bomb, then, you know, let's go for it. But I hold every Mexican or Hispanic dish to the standard of Cocina de Carlos, which is also Poco Loco. Cocina de Carlos, the spicy mango chicken fajitas. They are heavenly. I hold everything to that. We have a lot of great Mexican restaurants here. The make your own bowl thing, it's very popular. Pick your protein, blah, blah, blah. Chipotle, and what's the place that opened? The Piata. Core Life. Make your own bowl. BB Bob, all the stuff. You know where I make my own bowl? My kitchen. Every night of the week. That's why I like to, you know, grab a menu like Cocina de Carlos and see something as mouthwatering as the dish that I just mentioned. So, but hey, look, let's live it up. Also, there's a garage that will open and close for the appropriate nights to give us a patio type vibe with Condado. I saw a movie trailer last night while I was watching some TV for The Courier. It has my guy, Benedict Cumberbatch. It looks like a movie I saw 2011, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which was so the Bond, it fits in the spy genre, but there's the Bond spy genre, which is all action, and this is more like surreptitious and secretive behavior types. No, not as much action, but I'm all for it with Benedict Cumberbatch, and it actually looks like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, but with Russians. Lo and behold, it comes out tomorrow. I guess it had been bumped back a couple of times. So I think for the first time since seeing Tenet in August when it came out, I am going to go to the movies. Maybe tomorrow before the show. Not usually because I have a lot of stuff on Fridays to do for the weekend. But not like if I go on even Friday night or Saturday night. Over the weekend, I'm going to go to the movies. Probably Fallen Timbers or Levis, which are my go-to places now rather than the mall because it's closer. But I'm going to do that. Other movie stuff. I'm going to try the first half of the Snyder Cut of Justice League. I read all kinds of things and adjectives to describe it, and the one thing that looms largest is it's 4 fucking hours. That's a long-ass movie. But if it's 4 hours of fan service, so be it. They're not my favorite characters. I do not like the way Zack Snyder makes movies. I like to say that his things are an assault on my senses, but I'll re-up with HBO Max, watch this, and then in a month I'll get Mortal Kombat. Also tomorrow, after a week off to recover from WandaVision, we get Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I'm very much looking forward to. And I think I will briefly bring that up when we wire in with Philip here in just a little bit. And we'll start that now. Ashleigh, you're there, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Philip, I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3.
Hi. That's 3. That was 3.
Okay, we're good. We're all on the same page.
Oh,
all right.
okay.
Listen, I just wanted you two to hang out. I'm going to go. You can do your own thing here.
Dude, Ash and I have been trying to get a hold of each other for like 2 or 3 months. Same thing with Dom. I haven't been able to get a hold of anybody, and it's been super frustrating.
I'm sorry.
Well, this is why I wanted to swap guests, and I didn't tell either of you guys, but I figured Ashleigh would be pretty excited that you're here. So.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Girl, I'm hearing so much about you, by the way. I'm sorry, Eric, but like you're moving and like things are happening with school and work. Like we talked briefly about what was going on one day. Like we really need to catch up because life for you, I think, has been not like the best situation.
it's just been a crazy situation. It's just, COVID.
Right, yeah.
That's just what it
Well,
is.
this is what the podcast is for. Catch up, but can you start with the fight first?
Yes.
You can gentrify the Marina District, but you can't take the East Side out of the ghetto.
You can't take the girl. You can take the girl on the east side. You can't take the east side out of the girl.
Listen.
Yeah. So no, I mean, long story short, okay.
No, long story medium.
Long story medium. Okay, so we went out. We attended a birthday party at someone's home. It was like a very small gathering. A few of her family members, as well as like the majority of like the people that we work with in her office. So there was maybe like 14 people max. We ended up leaving because they did a fire, and I hate smelling like fire. So we ended up leaving and went to our neighborhood bar that we attend often.
The one that I came to with you?
Yes.
JKB?
Yeah.
You haven't talked about that in forever.
Because I usually go like during the weekday. I go like one weekday and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. I like it when it's dead. I like it when it's not crazy.
Right.
And another bar nearby closed down, and it seems as if it's just been an awkward mix of people. I shouldn't say awkward, a different mix of people that are
integration's
very
happening between bars. Yeah, that's never
yes,
fun,
and
is
it's
it?
like clearly a very clear definition on we've been coming here for 10 years, so back the F
Right.
up.
Right.
First, like, hey, we're new and we thought we owned the other one, and now we want to pretend that we run this one.
Can
So
I
it's
ask?
just been odd.
Can I ask which place closed?
No.
Okay.
I'm not going to say that because I don't want to incite a riot against myself either. So, long story short, long story medium, we were just sitting at the edge of the bar, and a gentleman was standing up. Yeah, we were inside. A gentleman was standing. We had our little, everyone has their little partitions up. A man, was standing in between the bar, who apparently ended up being the husband of a female. And at some point, there's been like 3 or 4 different versions of like how everyone thinks they started it. I think even like the girls' version changed by the time it started to the when it ended. But at some point, someone came up and started some stuff with Kevin, and Kevin was kind of like, I don't know you. Get out of my face. Like, I don't even know what you're talking
Kevin?
about.
Who starts stuff with Kevin? Really?
Exactly. He's like, I don't know you. You should probably just kind of get out of my face, kind of a thing. And then I kind of like stood up and I was like, is there a problem? Because it was a female. I'm like, what's happening?
That sounds like you. I miss you. I miss you so much. That sounds like you so much. Is there a problem?
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? And I'm sure I was probably like, what the fuck who the fuck are you, and what are you talking to him like that for? Because she was like yelling. And then within like seconds of that happening, he got a blunt force trauma to the back of his head with a fist, and someone threw a bar stool. At the same time, she grabbed the back of my hair.
What is happening?
And like did like a yank, and I was first, the only thing I clearly recall being like, you are a tiny little twig. Just by pure stature, you should know you're going to lose.
Right.
Like, unless you're some secret MMA fighter, which she was not, clearly, it just wasn't going to be a good thing. And,
Did you guys know this person at all? Like, have you recognized this person when this happened? I'm about to ask if I knew this person.
You probably
were they younger? Were they older?
They are in their 30s.
I mean,
early 30s. You probably maybe will know them, or like a cousin.
If they're around my age, it's somebody that I went to school with around that area. Like, these girls just pop off for no reason, especially after drinking. That's why I had to stop hanging out with them. It's like, you running around hitting grown men for no reason in a bar. After they tell you, get away from me, I don't know you. Like, you keep going. That's so crazy to me.
Yeah, and the dude, it ended up being kind of like crazy because, I mean, the dude was like 6'5", so it ended up being, I mean, this wasn't like this was just like us two against them two. It ended up being like full on like 2 girls like trying to grab me, like people that know us that are also very much part of the South Toledo area, like came running down. They got involved. It was crazy.
Oh, you
Someone
guys
was
didn't.
filming it, and I remember looking up and being like,
Oh.
"Oh my God, someone's filming this! Like, I'm a
Oh my God, I
mother. I
want to be
need
a
to
world
stop."
star.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Ben was like, "Did you look in Reddit? Did you see if it's posted on Reddit?" I was like, "No." I'm like, "This isn't like a proud moment of mine, but like, what was I
Yeah.
supposed to do? Let some
It's
like
on
five
Facebook
three
somewhere, I'm
blonde
sure.
twig, yeah, like
Yeah.
pull my hair? Nah,
So
nah."
were there police involved?
So the police got called at some point because I mean the bouncer was clearly like he was trying to stop everything. So yeah, he did a great job. Like he was trying to stop it, but clearly like he's probably 6 foot tall. This guy was 6'5". Um, he got control of it. I mean, what seemed like it was like 5 minutes was probably like a minute and a half. Um, but yeah, the police came. They didn't end up coming
So,
inside. The other people left. They made the other people leave. They had to pay their tabs and go.
did we ever get down to the bottom of it? Like, what was the situation about? Why did she come at Kevin that way?
So I've heard three different things. I heard that she thought Kevin apparently, quote unquote, a phrase I don't even know, laid hands on her husband. Um,
Like, hit him? Like,
yes,
fought him? Did
yes,
she look at Kevin?
apparently.
Like, I just
I
don't
well,
understand.
not even that. Like, did you see anything? Because I'm very confused. Like, I actually, and then I ended up like the next time, like we kind of talked about it because of course now it's like the big joke, like, oh, remember when last time I saw you were going 5 rounds.
All
Um,
right.
but from my understanding, she didn't know what she was talking about. I think she was just kind of like irate, and she kind of like is known for starting stuff after I learned some things from like people that actually know her.
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of just
Oh,
the way
can you
it went.
text me her name so I can
Yes.
like I won't say anything, but like if I do know this person, then like I have so many names in my head of girls that I know in that area around my age who I probably went to school with or my friends went to school with and I knew from like connections that
Oh, I
fit
have
that. I
no
remember
doubt
a
you probably
girl,
have mutual friends. I
I
have no
remember
doubt
these
that.
two girls, and I think it's one of them. This is one of the ones I'm thinking about at least. I remember we were at a party, just hanging out. Everybody's there is underage. There's like alcohol being drank, blah blah blah. Like this is like 1998 or some shit. I don't know, something really long time ago. Excuse my language. But I remember I'm sitting in the living room and I'm playing video games, and I look up, and one of the girls said, "I will beat your blank, you blank and blank." And I saw her lunge across a dining room table at this girl, and the other girl flip her over and put her head through the wall. And I was like, I don't get this. I don't understand what's happening in my life. And I feel like it's one of those two girls.
Ashley,
Yep.
was Kevin okay? Did he get knocked out? Did he have a concussion or anything?
Nope, definitely didn't knock out. I was very proud of him. His first fight at 37, he was on top, so I'll
Hey,
take it.
man.
Um, yeah, like they were like, I would have never guessed that Kevin never fought before. The dude fell and Kevin hopped on top and
Good for
took
him.
took
Like, it's
care
not
of it.
like Kevin
Yeah.
doesn't look like Kevin can not take care of himself because obviously like he does look like he can take care of himself. It's just that Kevin is always smiling. And if you approach him and you're like hostile, he won't fall into that. Like he won't just be like, "Oh, you want to go?" Like he'll be like, "What is the problem here? Let's talk about this first."
Yeah, and to be honest, like I even said, and a friend of mine was like, it's probably good that he had a little bit of liquid courage because I think otherwise he'd
Yeah.
been like, "Excuse me, fine sir, can you please back up out of my space?" Versus being like, "What the heck?" Like he was so caught off guard. It was like, okay, I guess I'm
Yeah.
doing this now. Like, you know.
How are
So
you?
I'm good. I had some hair that like was pulled because I had like the way my hair was done. I had like little bands and like this little like braid thing going on like from the top to the back of my hair. Um and there was some hair pulled out once I pulled all the bands out. And then I guess like Eric ended up seeing, I didn't even see him, but I had scratches like on the back of my neck. At one point there were like two girls trying to grab at me or something. I don't even remember that. I just saw like make sure she doesn't know herself by the time she leaves here in my head. Um,
Mhm.
and but I had two scratches on the back of my neck, so I'm good.
Didn't you
I
say
got my tetanus shot.
you had a hematoma?
Oh yeah, but that was from like the bar stool or something. Like somebody threw a bar stool to separate everyone, or like I don't know. Yeah,
Like
Um,
that's on my
when you
leg.
say throw when you say throw barstool, all I think about are like the brawls that happen in the mall food court. That's the first thing that always comes to mind. With like barstools sliding across the room. That's great.
Yeah, I think it was like one or two. I mean, to be honest, like Erica was like, I think you fell backwards because at one point she was like, I did look down and the girl was on top of you, and I was like, what? And I was like, so I don't ever remember that. I remember being like switching it up, like up a few times. So, um, yeah, I'm 37 and I got in a bar fight. So
do you not remember because of the fight? There was adrenaline, or because you were drunk?
I would say more adrenaline, but definitely also there had been drinks.
Okay.
But it was more like I truly didn't know what like I didn't know what like started it or anything. Like I had no intentions on being like, whoa, back up, that like anything like that was gonna happen. I truly was like, what, like after I was like, what the hell just actually happened? Like, this is nuts. So, aside of myself, I don't bring out, I'm a mom now. I try to not have to, regulate.
Yeah, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that.
Yeah.
All because the one place closed and you mixed crowds.
Well, and I don't know that. I think that they also probably have gone there. It's like the bartenders knew who they were. So it was like a very quick, like, oh yeah, we know who they are. So it wasn't a big thing. But from my understanding, her kids go to Beverly, so maybe we'll run into each other at a PTO meeting.
Ooh. And
outstanding.
And you can throw some hands there too.
No, I will not throw hands.
Was the Tucker thing today? You want to talk about that? Is this the same teacher that you have had problems with all year?
It is, and I think it's more.
You throwing
of
hands
like,
with teachers too?
No, she's a senior citizen.
Oh.
No, it's I just like the way that certain things are handled. I just have like questions on, and I think it's odd, and I think it's a form of like degrading. Like my son not paying attention. I understand. Yes, that's an issue. I completely understand.
Wait,
I
I'm
also
sorry.
have these issues.
I just want to catch up. Are you virtual learning or are we in person now?
So we are now in person 2 days and basically no
Okay.
school the other 3 days. They do like a small group class on Wednesday where they like kind of like refresh their reading, and they're reading a chapter book with each other. And it's like 4 kids at a time, something like that.
Okay.
But my issue is that today, my son apparently wasn't paying attention and like completely didn't do 2 sheets. I end up finding out. I don't go through my personal email often. Like I think currently right now I have like, Jesus, like 4,348 unread messages. Like that's just not, I'm not that person, right? So I don't have alerts. I don't have notifications. It just tells me how many I have. And then when I think I need to look at something, I Google or, I search whatever name it is that I think I've got an email from. But he apparently was having a very hard time listening today. And it wasn't that he was being a distraction. It was that he simply just wasn't listening or doing his work. Like they would do it as a class and he'd like sit there and like be in la la land. Mm-hmm. So she sent him to the nurse to have his ears checked.
What?
Mm-hmm.
So being petty is what I'm hearing.
Yep, that's how I took it. So glad that you're on that same train. Like,
yeah.
Like, who does that? Who's just like?
You just assumed my son was part deaf. Like,
what?
Is this for real?
Mm-hmm. It's like, did you guys have when you were kids? Like, your parents or someone? Did you need your ears cleaned out? Like this,
yes.
This lady took that literally and and Philip, to bring you up to speed really fast. Like this teacher, I thought this was some over her head, like 24-year-old. Not the case at all.
Yeah. She told me it's the senior citizen. And I mean, like I'm thinking to myself, right? And I'm really sick of this at this point. But like, you gotta give like older people a chance sometimes. But like, that's just like plain petty because that's just common sense. You're a teacher. Like, obviously, there's something more going on. He does not need to get his ears checked. You're just being an ode. See you next Tuesday for no reason. I don't understand the situation.
And how about give me a call? You know what? Stop on your lunch break, because this email was sent at 1, so it's after their lunch. On your lunch break, or say, you know what, kids, give me 5 minutes. Tucker, do that sheet that you apparently can't listen to do. Give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna call your mom. How about you check and say, hey, this is what's going on today. Would you like me to have his hearing checked? Or like, I mean, something. I just think it is such a like insane move. And then to be like, well, and then I asked, the email exactly says, when I check with students who have not turned in work, he does not answer me. I sent him to the nurse after lunch today to have his hearing checked. I was worried he might not be hearing me or have an ear infection.
Sorry.
She said he hears perfectly and has no wax buildup. Oh, are you fucking kidding? Like, are you like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
He's 7. You found out about this because of the teacher or because of the nurse?
No, Tucker came home and told me. So I instantly was like, mine and Kevin's faces like met and looked at each other. And I was like, are you hearing this? And he's like, mm-hmm. I was like, so I instantly looked at my email. I'm like, I swear to God, if I don't have an email about this, and this is how clearly this is how I found out. But if she did not even attempt to send something to me, it's gonna be on. And no, she sent something. It was a 1:09 p.m. But I'm like, I just think that that is a pretty shitty thing to do to someone that's 7. I think it's mildly degrading. Um, and I'd be interested in how many other students have had their ears checked since, they've been in school 4 days.
Did you say that there was a response from the nurse that there was no wax?
That was apparently what the nurse told her.
Okay, because I would love to hear the nurse get something from her, like how many kids get sent to you with this, or what did you think when you were told of this situation?
Yeah, like
I mean,
I just go on. I would like to hear what you have to say.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, if I was that nurse, like, I would be 110% shocked. I would probably call the parents myself and be like, listen, shots fired. You may want to deal with this, but your son was sent to my office for X, Y, and Z. And I just want to let you know, I'm going to send him back to class. And this is what I'm telling the teacher. Because, like, the nurse got put in the middle of this because his teacher has an issue with a 7-year-old not listening to her. He's a freaking 7-year-old. So,
and also, you have half of the class there. And she's like, I would really like it if I could get some. Here, let me go back to this. I'd really appreciate any help you could offer in this matter. I'm just trying to get him to do his work because I don't want his grades to suffer. Okay, you'd like my help? How about you help yourself because I'm not freaking there? Remember when I just did this entire, like, for fucking 12 months? Remember when I sat here next to him and you still gave him shit and I was sitting right next to him? How about that? What more would you like me to do? Would you like me to sit behind him so I can tap him on his shoulder? Because last time I checked, you're in control. If he's not doing the work, then you find something else for him to do. You say, you're going to sit here, you're going to do this until you're done. You're going to miss lunch. You're going to miss recess. There's multiple things that would definitely suffice him being in trouble for not listening. Yes, he's already gotten in trouble here. He is well aware of what's going to happen if he brings home 2 more papers that don't have, like, any answers on them and that have a 0 on them. Like, we just got their test scores back. It's like a 184 is where he's supposed to be, and he's a 199. Clearly, he's not dumb. Like,
so are you gonna make it? Are you gonna make it 2 more months, or are you gonna strangle this lady?
I don't know. I won't strangle her because nobody needs an assault charge. However,
I mean, technically,
possibly.
you've already had one this past week, so you might as well keep it going.
Send that little 5'3" girl after the teacher.
Right.
I'm 5'3" also. She might have been taller than me. I don't remember. She was just like 90 pounds dripping wet.
Didn't you say during virtual learning that he actually seemed to be more engaged?
So he liked it at first, like he was totally on board with it. And then, like, the entire class ran into some very big hiccups. So it's like everyone else was doing school, from my understanding, like the other 2nd grade class, everything is on the computer. She was sending home, like, for 1 month, it was like 78 loose leaf papers. And she'd be like, okay, find it. Everyone find it. So you have 7-year-olds rummaging through, a briefcase looking for the one page that they need for that, 12 minutes to work on. And then she'd call on them all one by one to show them the work. You tell me what kid's going to want to sit for, like, a page that should take 5 minutes was taking 45 minutes by the time she got through, like, all their names to show the work.
Like, I get it that there is definitely a gap with the older generations and using technology, and that's a huge frustrating situation for them. I completely get that. I understand the situation. But if you're going to send home 50, 70 plus pieces of paper, like, take the time, and I know it sucks, but for each of your students, put them in the folder, put them in order, put dates on them, like, tell the parents what you're doing, like, make an actual plan because you understand that this is an issue and it's going to go on for a while. Like, I can't have too much sympathy for what I just said for her because at the same time, she didn't seem like she was prepared or she wanted to do it. Like, she just threw a bitch fit, for lack of a better term, and was like, well, it's going to be hard for you. It's going to be because it's hard for me. So there.
Yep. Yes. That precisely. I offered at the very beginning of the year to turn it, and then I ended up finding out. So this one lady that, like, we've never met, but both of our kids are in her class. She's actually a teacher at, like, a higher education level within Toledo Public Schools. And so me and her kind of go back and forth, like, hey, so-and-so forgot this worksheet. Can you send it over to me? Hey, so-and-so forgot this worksheet. Can you send it over to me? Mind you, I think today marks their 5th day of being in class, like, back to real school learning. Yeah, I think it's 5. Yeah, it's 5. And she was like, I told her, I said, I just hate that they have to bring all this home. Like, why can't it all just be on the computer? And I was like, no, completely. I said, I offered at the very beginning of the year to turn everything into a PDF or into a Google Doc so kids could do it like on the computer. Like, that's the point, right? And she declined my offer. And then the lady literally told me, she goes, yeah, so there's software that was provided to all TPS students or all TPS teachers to turn every document into a Google document. They literally have to like scan it and it automatically does it.
I mean, again, like to me,
to
you, to us, it's not hard to do that. To us, it's like you just need to know how to do that because you have to turn in stuff that way for work. Otherwise, you don't get paid. But I get for old generations, like it may be difficult because you have students and you just hand them papers. And I get that. So giving the papers doesn't bother me. I get how that's frustrating, but it's just the fact that you weren't prepared. Like you didn't even attempt to put them in order or to put dates on them or to say, this is what we're going to be doing or send them out at separate times. Like you were just like, figure it out. It's hard for me. It's hard for you. Done.
Mm-hmm. Ashleigh, Tucker, did he get was it a lottery to get into Beverly?
No, we had to like apply for out of district.
Got it. But he got that, right? So like you guys had to do something to get him into Beverly, which is like a cool new school, brand new building and all that stuff. And who would have guessed all this trouble?
Yeah. Not me.
Hold on 1 second. I have to do a quick traffic report. Phil, is there any traffic over in your neck of the world?
It's dark and we don't go places because we're supposed to stay home. So
everyone's locked down. There's no traffic in the UK. Hold on 1 second. An earlier incident, 75 northbound about exit 171. That's all clear now. We're looking at one accident, East Manhattan Boulevard at LaGrange. If you're seeing something we're not, let us know. That's your Cumulus Toledo right now traffic. Yeah, Philip, we had daylight savings here. And so what time? It's 4:28 here. What time is it there?
It is 8:28 here.
What's
typically it'd be 9:28, but you know, you guys jumped the gun there.
Right, so
we caught back up.
You don't change time there, right?
It says we still have daylight savings, but I don't think the time changes. It's supposed to be next. Let me double check. I think it's next Saturday, like this upcoming Saturday. I'm sorry, a couple days from now. But yeah, like it's the weirdest thing, and I just don't understand.
What's Danny complaining about now?
Oh my God, what is Danny not complaining about, to be honest with you? Like, I love him dearly, but there's literally always something.
Let's get him on Twitter, and I'm going to start the Justice League movie tonight, and I bet he has a lot of rage that he could, like, rage tweet about that.
He won't watch the Justice League movie. He won't watch anything that has to do with superheroes because it all confuses him, and it's all not real because it's the same thing that's bothering him with Snow. Have you watched Snowpiercer, the series on Netflix?
No, I wasn't interested by it.
Okay, neither am I, but that's the stuff that he loves. But the same thing with Star Trek Discovery. Loves it, but wants to do nothing but talk crap about it the entire 45 minutes that it's on, about how it's not real. This can't happen. Well, why did this happen? Why didn't she just tell the truth? This all could have been avoided. Literally, the entire 45 minutes every night. I'm going to do it in like 20 minutes when we're done talking here.
He's so angry. Like, you have to, like, ask him if any part of his family was born in the East Coast of the United States. Like, New York, D.C., Philadelphia, where everybody's just, like, they wake up angry.
For, like, no reason. No, I mean,
I take offense to that because I think the first time you met me, you were like, "Oh my God, you remind me of like the East Coast."
Yeah,
I'm not angry,
but no, it was more because of like your bulldog take no shit attitude. You're not an angry person, but Danny is just like it's like the sun's up again. Ugh, motherfucker.
Oh, but he won't do it to anybody but those that he knows because, like, say that there was like somebody else here with us. I can give you, for instance, we had people long time ago before all this lockdown stuff happened. We had people over, out back, barbecue, eating everything else. I like to give people shit left and right. Like, that's just my job. I love to do, especially to like engage in conversation. So I'm like kind of like talking to Danny about stuff that we have had conversations about and things that got him riled up with people, and like he just goes quiet and let somebody else like say something. He's like, yeah, exactly, and I'm like, no, F you. That's not what you said last night. You can't agree with somebody right now just because you don't want them to think that you're strange. So we have that as well.
When you guys were here, when he visited here and you were still living here, did he start a fight with Sam or Dom, or was it one of them that said something to him?
It was Dom. It was me, Megan, Dom, and Danny were at Dirty Bird. And I don't know what happened. I made Danny mad for one reason or another. I don't know what I did. I don't remember. But Dom had said something, and Danny was like, "Well, I'm an adult. I don't behave that way. I don't do things that way because that's just beneath me." Like he said something of that nature. And Megan, Dom, and I looked at Danny like he'd have lost his damn mind. So literally, Dom got quiet, and Megan was like, "Try not to fucking laugh." Excuse my language. And I was like, "Right." So I want a cigarette, Danny. You should come outside with me. And like we argue out in the patio, Dirty Bird, and he went back in and apologized. But I forget what it was, but he was mad at me for something. He was like, "I'm an adult. I don't behave the way because that's beneath me." And my jaw dropped. It had to have been like the tequila that we had had, or something happened in him that made him feel like he was invincible at that point in time because he just went off. So
His hoity-toity British attitude. You are a guest in our country, and you come here and insult people.
I suppose,
Yes.
but I mean that's all he is today. He's just he just likes to hate watch stuff, and I get to sit there and be a part of it. And then it's really bad. For instance, when they had the Oprah interview with Harry and Meghan,
Oh, I
because
was
like
dying to know how everyone thought about that.
oh my God, like he literally like sat there and he had comments and I'm trying to listen because I'm like I'm not too involved in this stuff, so I don't know what's going on. And now I get to hear like them from their mouth, not just somebody else writing about what they have said. And he's like talking about, well, I'm not surprised that the institute would do that to her. They are trying to make money, not lose money. She's not an employee. Or like he would say something like, why is she surprised about that? Like she's black, of course they're not going to like her. She shouldn't be a part of the family. And I'm like, Danny, stop talking. Like we get it. The interview, you don't care, or whatever the case may be. Like stop talking.
That's
Sorry.
funny. No, that's funny.
Philip, I got my first shot over the weekend. What's the vaccine deal over there? Like, who's allowed to get it?
Oh, you got your vaccine. It's the same thing that it was. Now, like the vaccine that was developed here at Oxford apparently gives blood clots. So some of the EU stopped giving it, and they're trying to figure out why it's doing it to some people, which wasn't very many people. But I think that we are at the point to where the beginning of April, they're doing 50 below that have pre-existing conditions or anything that could like really be bad. They're doing those people first, and then by they said the end of April. What's after April? June or July? June.
May.
May.
Like, bitch, you got a countdown till you can go back to the gym, but you don't know what month is after May? Got my mind set on one thing.
I may have had a few glasses of prosecco. It's been a rough week.
Totally fine. It's Thursday.
So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so at the beginning of May, we should be getting our text messages to make appointments to get our shots.
I
So we'll
got
see how
mine
it
yesterday.
goes. Your first one?
Yep.
How'd you get it?
I signed up for it, and I went to pick one on Saturday because technically I would be, because I fall into the obese category. So starting tomorrow, I could start being able to get it. So I tried making an appointment for Saturday, and when I clicked like continue or whatever, it like popped up like 5:15 yesterday, and I was like, wait, what? But I had already picked my second date, and I was like, well, I guess I'm jumping the line a little.
Mm-hmm.
So what? Well, how were you? Like, what was the category that you were able to get it under?
Well, they never asked me.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty loose.
Yeah.
So I was on a standby list, and I was able to get one of the extra ones because people didn't show up. I went to the rec center on Saturday, and then when I came home, the girl that I've been seeing, she was trying to get an appointment with Kroger or CVS or Rite Aid or whatever, and she does private practice. She's a therapist, and like she couldn't pick that to get the appointment. But funeral director was there. I'm like, well, it looks like you run a funeral home now, and if anybody gives you a problem when you go there, just show them your business card. But it's pretty loose.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty loose because then, because what's it like? I would be in category whatever starts on the 19th. So I was like, okay, I'll do the right thing. I'll make it for Saturday. But it's considered a medical condition. So I was like, whatever. So I clicked the medical condition thing, and then it popped up and it let me do it. So I was like, whatever. And then I was on a roll. I just kept clicking find appointments. So I made them for like everyone.
Good.
Nice.
I got Brandon in. I got my grandma in because she was not going to do it, and then she finally decided to do it. So yay!
Good.
So she got hers this morning.
Yay.
What made her what changed her mind?
Basically, my dad told her she's not going to be able to come around the children.
So laying it down.
Yeah. My dad got it, which was shocking. I didn't think my dad was going to get it, but my mom kind of laid it down on him, and then now he's just been passing down the fury, the Nichols fury.
Like, I have this whole thing about, especially like here in the UK, I'm not really sure in America, but if they just stop like politicizing the situation and stop making it sound like we're trying to get money from people, like if they just give doctors and scientists a chance to step up and be the face and the voice of the situation, people would feel a lot better. Because I've realized that they're like, oh, well, I heard Boris Johnson say this, or I heard Joe Biden say this, or I heard XYZ say this. They're real skeptical of it, but they say, if there's like a doctor before that first or last name, people are like, well, I heard Dr. So-and-so talk about it this way, and it makes you feel a lot better. So I wish they would just leave it to them and just stop pushing it so politically.
Yeah. I saw on like one of the news sites, I try to stay away from those because they just infuriate me. I know Eric has the same problem. But someone was like, the article read like, experts say that blah, blah, blah. And someone was like, oh yeah, keep following what the experts say. He's like, that makes sense. Someone underneath him posted, okay, so wait, we should be following people that are not experts in this subject?
Question mark.
I don't think that person knew what the word expert means.
Yeah.
Which is more scary.
It's been so nice, and it shows you like how messed up things were, and so much comes from this damn country because there's 300 million people, and the guy was a fucking loudmouth. And this wouldn't have been this bad, and we would have gotten a jump start on this, but it's as I expected. From what I've seen, the biggest scandals so far when it comes to President Biden have been his dog bit somebody and had to get kicked out of the White House, and he won't meet with the press. So he's going to meet some record for like not having a press conference, which is fine by me because we got a daily press conference from that asshole every day, whether it was from his idiot people doing the press secretaries or him on Twitter. I'm totally fine not hearing from the president for like 4 years unless he did what he did on the night of the pandemic to mark the 1 year anniversary. To just, rally the troops and call for some peace. But his dog bit somebody and got thrown out of the White House. Totally good with that kind of presidential scandal. I
didn't even hear about that. When did that happen?
His dog, Major, the German Shepherd, I think he's got two of them. They're rescues. Yeah. So the dog is around a lot of people that the dog was never around before. So the dog is going to be a little nippy and a little snappy, and it nipped somebody, so they sent the dog home.
Well, they probably weren't a good person. That's probably why the dog did it. I'm just saying. Dogs have good sense.
But it's so nice to, like, wake up to, like, we're really going in a good direction now, and imagine if he would have won, and it would have slowed down the gains we've made in getting people vaccinated.
Yeah.
So, but Ashleigh, I'm glad you were able to like get yourself in and everybody else in too. So, like, we haven't talked about this with you for a while, and Philip and I have on Fridays. But like, you can see the horizon. Like, you can see the good things ahead.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. I mean, especially even working like hospitality. Like a lot of those things are starting to kind of like take a turn. You know what I mean? We're seeing more people traveling, more people, and I think as more people get vaccinated or, even those that choose not to, the more people that do, the more likely things will, get back to life as normal. I think, and we kind of talked about this too. I think at like the beginning of the pandemic when everyone all of a sudden was working from home, I think it became like I think we even talked about it once on a podcast where maybe a lot of these companies are going to realize like, hey, we don't need to have this building. We don't need as much overhead. Yeah. I think a year later, everyone's like, no, I'm not too sure about that because Joe's not pulling his weight and Joanne, takes a nap twice a day. And, and I think even just like myself as like a corporate employee, like I constantly am questioning, like, am I doing enough? Like, am I doing well? Like, even though, yes, what I have and what I'm in control of is doing very well and successful, like, am I doing enough? So I wouldn't be surprised that more people start going back to in office, and it becomes one of those things where like, hey, did you get vaccinated? Because you can start coming to work now.
For like for like I forget where it is, but for like corporate in office working in one of these countries, they are running a plan where basically the government pays companies a certain amount of money to do 3 to 4 day work weeks instead of 5 day work weeks and 40 hours. They're thinking about pulling it down. So I don't think America wasn't one and UK wasn't one, but like people are considering doing things that are different, which I think is a great idea because, sometimes 40 hours isn't the best.
Well, sometimes like 40 hours isn't 40 hours. Like,
It's
especially
also
like with
true.
working from home, like my days sometimes like they start at like 6:45 and I'm on until the kids wake up at, 8 o'clock. And
Right.
then at 9 o'clock I take the kids to school and then I'm on
Yeah.
until 5 and then I hop back on at 8. I even like I said, like it's no longer like working from home, it's living from work,
That's a good
so
way to
I
put
think
it.
it's kind of taking a toll on both sides, both sets, like personal and professional,
I
at some point.
I think you're right. We we're gonna have to evaluate it, and it's gonna be case by case because maybe some people, for whatever their work is, they'll go. People are more productive here, but maybe for
Right.
others, they have reached a higher level of productivity, and maybe their
Right.
employees have said, "Hey, I don't need to work 50 hours a week because I'm productive and successful in 37 hours a week." So I think there's going to be a lot of culture change, and not everybody is going to be the same.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah,
Even,
I agree too.
even like with just the kids going back to school, like the amount of time that, like even in all those days, like I had someone at home, and Kevin's been throughout the entire pandemic, he's home by noon. So there were days, 4 days a week where I had someone here to help me. Um, and that's all great and everything, but like there's certain things that happen. Like if, they stub their toe or drop something on their foot, like they want mom. So it'd be, little timeouts here and there. And then, the guilt started to fade away after like month 7. I was like, yeah, I don't care. Come here. I'll give you a hug and kiss. But I'd be like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I gotta kiss you real quick. I gotta get back to work. I'm gonna, like, and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's really it's been nice to find a balance again with them actually going to school.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And just how much more I can actually truly get done.
Philip, has it been the same over there?
Yeah, I mean, it threw me off because the 8th, I think, was a Monday, and that's when school started again here. And I rode my bike because it was a nice day from here to a place called Fulham, which is like 4 or 5 miles out, which 4 or 5 miles on a bike.
They have a soccer
Go,
team.
yeah, yeah, they do. Well, football, right?
Yes.
But anyway, 4 or 5 miles out is actually really, really far, and I didn't think it was that far, and I about killed myself. But nonetheless, like I made it there, but I got really annoyed because I forgot school was in, and all these kids were coming out of nowhere, and they were like parents holding hands, and like there were kids crossing the street, and there were kids getting on buses, and they were in uniforms, and they were loud, and I was like, what is going on? And I've spent majority of my life here with no school, so like yeah, it's the whole situation, like kids going back to school and life becoming somewhat of a normal, and streets being busy again and congested with bodies. So yeah,
Ashley,
oh, I don't look forward to it.
did you hear how St. Patrick's Day was downtown? I didn't see anything about any arrests or see DUI numbers. I saw one guy spit on a cop, but that had nothing to do with St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, no, I didn't really see anything. I was downtown yesterday. But I mean everything, there's so much construction going on that even like to try to see what was happening, it involved like driving down another 2 streets and I wasn't gonna do that. But yeah, I mean everything looked to be pretty decent. I know at one point like they talked about doing tents and they're like, no, we're not gonna do tents. Um, which didn't really make much sense to me, but I think they still blocked off a street or so, like the popular places.
Yeah, the Blarney and Cock and Bull Street was blocked off, and then Adams was blocked off as well. And I was thinking that there was
Okay.
going to be a parade, but those things were blocked off for whatever festivities that people had. I'm surprised too that they didn't do a tent. I get it. You'd have to get it ventilated, but if you get it ventilated and get the air circulating, it's fine. You can do what you normally do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the whole thing, like, we can dine inside, but we can't dine outside in a tent. It's very
Yeah.
weird to me. Like the common sense behind some decisions, I'm still like, wait, what? Like that
Right.
doesn't make sense.
Do you guys still have curfew there, or is that done? Is it over?
No, it's clear.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
And just today, which was not a surprise at all. So when the Mud Hens announced their season, they said they were going to have 1,500 fans because that's what capacity would allow with the current protocols. And there was a buzz about like tickets would be like $300 or $400, and they were going to be so hard to get, and they'd be like golden tickets. And in pro sports, some tickets are like that, but those are games happening now. And like we were talking about it here at work, like the value of a ticket to opening day weekend would be like giving away a trip somewhere just because people want to get out and they'd be hard to get. But I'm like, chill, because as we move through the weeks, they're going to up the capacity. So that happened today. So now the Mud Hens can have 4,000 people in the stadium.
Did we also agree that, most of the part of going to opening day is just going to be out and social? Like, you don't actually go to the game. I don't know the last time I actually went inside. Even though I may have had tickets, I went inside to the game on opening day for the Mud Hens.
Well, I don't know if you had heard, but it got moved back to the beginning of May. So that's good.
That's good. But no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it got moved back, and it was because of Major League Baseball. They want to use the minor league stadiums. So they told the minor league teams that your season is going to start a month later. Wait.
No. So the Tigers are going to use the Mud Hen Stadium?
For like extra players and stuff.
What do you mean for extra players?
Like a workout facility.
Yeah, like training.
Okay. I thought you meant have games down there.
No,
I was so they're going to bring more people from Detroit into the city to come to games. Okay.
No. And
that's been happening every weekend for the past 3 months, so we're good. I'm pretty sure every person from Detroit has visited Toledo in like the past 3 months.
Do they have different restrictions in Michigan than they do in Ohio?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We have like people reaching out to us for like weddings on like a Tuesday. Because like they still can't have anywhere like I don't even think they're at like 100 people yet. So they like these different people are reaching out like, hey, we've rebooked twice in Michigan and we're giving up. So can we have our wedding on Tuesday? We're like, sure, 100%. Yes, you can.
Tuesday, 1 p.m. after the lunch rush. Is that all right with you guys?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like when you look at the pictures in 10 years, nobody's going to know that it was on a Tuesday that you were having all this fun.
Right.
Truth.
Right.
True.
But it is slowly getting better, maybe faster, like restrictions here in Ohio anyway, opening up faster than people had expected. Even though I thought it would be this way. And I saw that Europe is kind of, their cases are going up again. But that makes sense because at least here, while we have all the different states, things are kind of close together when it comes to vaccine rollout. Whereas over there, Philip, how many countries are in Europe?
I mean, in the EU, there's too many to count, but I mean, here in the UK, there's 5. So,
well, all over Europe, where everything is connected, and you've got governments doing things so differently, it makes sense that cases might go up again because it's not as aligned and concentrated as things are here. Where you have Texas and Florida, where it's like everything open up, but at least the vaccine rollout, in this country from one coast to the next has been pretty standardized.
Right, yeah. It's funny because like people in the EU will make fun of America because they're like, "Oh, you can't do anything in America because like you can just get in your car and drive from one state to the next state." I'm like, same thing in Europe. Like in the EU, you can just get in your car and drive from one to the next, and nobody's going to stop you. Literally, like Switzerland and Paris, there is a wooden fence, like a wooden fence with nothing else that divides the country. You can just walk into the next country. So it's the same deal.
Well, isn't that why there was such a refugee problem and terrorism?
So you can just walk across the border. There's no lines. There's just like, hey, you know what? Welcome. We're all here. Hug me, brother. So yeah.
Hug me, brother.
Well, I'm glad I could get you guys back together. I'm glad, Philip, you could do Thursday. Ashley, I'm glad you can get on, and I'm glad that you could make time after laying into that teacher again.
I didn't lay into her. Nobody answered. So
listen, if you need some old lady to go up to Beverly and have a conversation with her, a friendly conversation in old lady terms, you let me know. I got some aunties in Toledo who will get her right.
Will do. I think I hope I can manage, but we'll see what happens.
All right.
I was my mom was known as a cussing mother by like first grade, and I was like, yeah, at least I made it to like second. So.
Will you guys go catch up with one another? I was glad I was able to get you guys together today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.